Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to the beautiful woods of western North Carolina and the backcountry of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. This area is 522,000 acres of mountainous country and, according to geologists, some of the oldest land formations on Earth. The plant life consists of an amazing canopy composed of oak, maple, pine, and hickory trees, and a very dense undergrowth of magnolia, dogwood, holly, and azalea bushes, amongst many others. The array of plant life is both beautiful and aromatic. The animal life consists of white-tailed deer, rabbits, raccoons, possums, beavers, and other small forest dwellers. The top predator of the area is the black bear. It is this beautiful and wild backdrop that made the Great Smoky Mountain National Park the most visited national park in the U.S. park system. Yes, even more than Yellowstone, believe it or not. The Great Smoky Mountain National Park had around 12.2 million visitors in 2020. Patrick Madura was a 43-year-old man from Elgin, Illinois. He had his master's degree in biology and was trained as an EMT and firefighter. Patrick was scheduled to stay at remote Hazel Creek Campground, number 82, which was reserved for one person from September 8th through September 11th, 2020. At remote campgrounds, there isn't always oversight as to who is coming and who is going. There might be a camp host or a ranger on site, or there might be no one around for days. When a camper makes a reservation, it is more of a verifiable formality than anything rigorously enforced. Campers at these kinds of sites wouldn't have it any other way, as that is why they're there, for less people and more nature. Patrick arrived at his chosen camping spot and pitched his tent and rolled out his sleeping bag according to his plans. He chose a campsite close to a creek and on the edge of a small meadow, but not too far from the trail, so he could have easy access to it when he was ready. As far as anybody knew, Patrick was enjoying himself and the natural surroundings of the remote campground he chose. On September 11th, a small group of hikers passed by on the trail near Patrick's campsite when they noticed his tent and site and decided to investigate. The campsite seemed eerily quiet as Patrick's single-person tent flap swayed in the breeze. They looked inside and noticed his sleeping bag placed where it should be, and nothing seemed to be out of place in the tent. The hikers then noticed that the grass on the backside of the tent was flattened out. It looked like there was a wrestling match that occurred there. But this apparently was much more serious of a confrontation than a friendly wrestling match, as the hikers observed the grass matted down with a clear drag trail, and there was blood on the drag trail. It all seems to lead directly down to the creek. At this point, they noticed a bear across the creek, probably only about 30 yards away. The bear seemed distracted as it chewed on something obscured by the grass and bushes. The bear continually glanced toward the hikers and back. It was then that the hikers decided to leave the area to find a cell signal and call authorities. They finally reached someone by 7 p.m. and investigators were sent out the next day. As investigators and officials arrive at the remote camping site, they observe a 240-pound male black bear scavenging off the partially decomposed remains of Patrick Madura. The bear was euthanized and its corpse sent off for analysis. Patrick's remains were collected and sent to the coroner for analysis as well. The coroner's report took just over a year to complete and compile. In the examination, the coroner focused on the reaction of the tissues around the puncture and bite wounds. It was noted that the wounds were received before death had occurred, as the tissues at the wound sites hemorrhaged, Patrick exhibited lacerated puncture wounds and blunt force trauma to his head, neck, and nearly every other portion of his body. His ribs were fractured during the attack, as they also exhibited hemorrhaging. His left lung also had bruising, hemorrhaging, and blunt force trauma. Patrick's scalp had lacerations as well as his finger, back, and legs. The bear bit him from head to toe. His brain, heart, and lungs showed no evidence of any natural disease, which means he was in good health overall. Patrick's fatal bear attack was only the second in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park's 80-year history. Since 1990, there have been 57 black bears euthanized in the park, mostly for malnourishment and injury. The park does its best to make sure visitors are safe by recommending hikers use the aerial storage cables provided by the park to cache their food, educating visitors on proper bear response, and closing backcountry campsites whenever bear activity is high in the area. Additional precautions include hiking in groups of 3 or more, carrying bear spray, following backcountry closures, storing food appropriately, and keeping your distance from bears. Authorities say if you're attacked by a black bear, you should defend yourself with anything available. You should also look large by raising your hands above you and standing tall. And finally, do not run or turn away from a bear, as this may stimulate a predatory response. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks, and we hope that you stay safe, especially in bear country.